By the way, the thing with those wicks, where I used to come across that was when I started off first. I had a setup for earnings caps, and I had to give a lecture on it one night on earnings caps, and basically what I was trying to explain is that, to use an expression, buy the fuck up, because what would end up happening is that price would come down to a lot of those wicks. You have various competing systems in the market. So some people are using fibs, some people are using traditional technical analysis, that kind of stuff. So a lot of the times those wicks are simply to touch a different system and to give that system then its valid entry. But what was consistent is that if they're going to do something, they actually have to buy it aggressively, and that creates the wick. And the wick is confirmation, basically, that your trade you're in the right place, because they're not letting price go down. So when I used to be teaching them how to do or lecturing on earnings gaps, which are not as good anymore. The earnings gaps, I used to say that the price just had to be bought the fuck up straight away, because earnings gaps are not. They used to be a lovely, easy technical trade that you could do, because you would have earnings. You'd look in the earnings and see there was an earnings surprise or blowout earnings, in the first 3 lines of every report. Yeah. And then you'd see a gap, and then you could put a fib in to give you an entry, which was between the 50 and the 618. And then you would trade that fib until it had moved on far enough, because it had created a little island, and then it moved, and the average return was about 20% over the next few weeks, over the next 3 months, basically, that they'd move pretty consistently. But that was the market changed, and you don't have that same style of action at the moment. Not as you do see it, but you don't see it as all over the place, so it's not a setup that works especially well. You could go into Apple. It's one of those setups where I wish I knew how good it was at the time when I was doing it. Yeah. Looking back, it was like I found this lovely piece of gold, and I just didn't exploit it as much as I should have possibly exploited it.